Hey everyone, it's Nea Clare with the Light Up. I am delighted to be back with you. I can't believe it's already the last week of April. Normally we have more time where I'm doing these interviews, but we're jamming it into an action-packed week because that's the way this month went. So if you're on with us, definitely say hello. We're going to have information in the comments, but if you have questions as we're going today, please go ahead and post that. And we will get going. So the Light Up, if you have not been to the Light Up, if you haven't heard of the Light Up is a monthly event that I have been producing for almost a year now, which is mind-blowing to me because it was just a little bit of a dream about a year ago. And the Light Up is a monthly event, and it's a channeling event. So I'm a natural channel for spirit. I've been channeling for the last almost 10 years. And I thought it'd be more fun to do it with friends. I thought it'd be more fun to create community around this. And so we are at Strike Theater in Northeast Minneapolis, and we start the event. The first hour is inviting in amazing practitioners. I can't even tell you. We've had such a variety of different healers and teachers and vendors and readers who come in and share their gifts and talents. And we'll be talking with them today. I'll be talking with Paula, who's one of our practitioners. So we'll get to that in just a second. And then we have a guest speaker. And last month and this month, I think we're going to be doing a little bit more of an interview style, which is more engaging for the audience to be able to ask questions, to kind of dig deeper rather than just being talked to. I think all of us are hungry for conversation and to take things a little deeper. So we're going to be doing that. And then we wrap it up with group channeling. There's a group message and opportunity for individual questions. So it is a fun 3-hour event, and it's this Sunday, April 30th. And so every month I try to introduce you to all of our new practitioners, all of the people who help make this event special each month. And this month we have the amazing Paula Schuster, who I had the opportunity to meet, maybe 5-6 months ago. Yeah. And when I met her, it was immediate for me. I can't say both ways, but I will say for me, I met her and I was like, who is this bright-eyed, beautiful, radiant woman? And we got a chance to do a little work together. And she is coming and she's going to be sharing her Reiki practice with us at the event. And so I want you to get to know her today, get to meet her, find out about her. And so Paula, welcome to the interview today.
Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me and having me join your event. I'm super excited.
I'm really glad to have you. And so one of the ways that we get started is I'd love for everybody to get to know you a little bit. Would you like to share with us who you are and what you do? What is your practice?
Sure. So I'll start off just with a little bit about me. I've been a human on this earth for 51 years, this lifetime. I love being of service to others. I love chocolate. I love Brussels sprouts. I love nature.
Not together, right? Not together. Maybe.
I love green juice. I love the sun, and I love traveling, and I love coming back home after traveling because it's the comfort place. Yes. So that's a little bit about me. I care deeply about Mother Earth, and I hold her in so much reverence. Had a beautiful ceremony a sacred ceremony that I went to for Earth Day this past weekend. So that's a little bit about me. My hobbies: I love to be out in nature, walking and hiking and biking, and I love meditating and practicing yoga and going to sound baths and collaborating with like-minded people. And I love live music.
Oh, that's so good. Well, you're going to be in good company at this event. I know all the music and the collaboration. This is awesome. Yeah. So tell me how you got into Reiki. How did you find it? Because this isn't what you were doing a few short years ago, right?
No, I was going to say something unique about me is that I quit my corporate job last May after more than 26 years to pursue more purposeful work. And so I'm building my healing and coaching business. I'm a Reiki healer and teacher. I'm a life coach. I love giving consults on essential oils and flower essences too. And I've also started a cultivating self-love workshop because all of my work is rooted in self-love.
Yes.
But how I got into Reiki is a really kind of an interesting story, because I knew like this much about Reiki when I got invited to go get trained and attuned. One of my dear friends had gone to this beautiful place in Baja, Mexico, Todos Santos, called Yandara Yoga Institute. And she had gotten trained as a yoga teacher there, and they offer a host of other, modalities and certifications that complement yoga teachers. And she asked me if I wanted to go to Yandara to get trained in Reiki. It's a beautiful place in the desert on the beach in Mexico.
Right. No. No. I love it.
I'll go. Like I said, I knew like this much about Reiki, and I was working my corporate job, and I thought, oh, I'll do some research before I go. And of course I got caught up in working the 60 hours a week and didn't get to do a darn thing.
Yeah.
So just got on the plane and went. And I was trained in all 3 levels in that 7 or 8 days. And I had a complete life transformation. I mean, my whole world changed. I had a huge awakening. I could barely speak about it because I was just so emotional about coming back home to myself. And it had done so much for me, Reiki, in this short amount of time. I mean, I came home a different person. My family didn't recognize me. I didn't eat the same things. I didn't talk the same way. I didn't care about the same things. Like my daughter actually got up in my face and said, "Who are you?"
Right.
I don't know who you are anymore. That's how different I was when I came home. And I just had to share, like, something gave me that much, brought me back home to myself. I wasn't living, for myself for the prior probably 30 years. And I had to share it with others. I just had to share it with others. And so that's my story about Reiki. 6 months later, I went back to Yandara to get my life coaching certification. And that was just more peeling back of the layers, more awakening, more awareness, more healing, and just healing at all the levels.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how I got connected up with Reiki and started. And I started my side hustle when I was in corporate America.
Yes. Woo woo for the side hustles.
Yeah.
Really, really, really. So like how many people out there are like doing this, expansion, and the fact that you could do it and start to have a foundation from where you grew. I love that.
Yeah. And then I just over time became so misaligned. I never had enough energy to put into my business or the amount that I wanted after, working all the corporate hours and getting sucked into that every day. And I was suffering. I was just, as time went on and I healed more and more and I worked on myself more and more. I was just so misaligned that I was suffering every day. Like my wife and I had talked about me, quitting my job. I've been the breadwinner, and what that would mean for us. Maybe we'd need to sell the house and move. And so we had been talking about that for some months. And finally one day I was just like, I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. It's sucking the soul out of me. And I need to do more purposeful work. I have to do it. Like it's so deep within me, like the path, like just everything in me was saying, done with that.
Yeah. Wow. And so what was that moment? I think so many people are curious. There are many people who will be listening to this live or they're listening to this later who are like, oh, I feel you, Paula. I know what you're going through. I've been there. What was that moment where you went, okay, this was it for me. Like I'm gonna give it a shot.
Jumping off the cliff and quitting corporate America?
Yeah. Was it such a cliff though? Really? I don't know. Is it a cliff? I don't know. I'm curious.
It felt like that in some ways to me, but I had been doing so much work with my mental state prior to that for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do this. Maybe, I can do this. And as I got stronger in my daily practices, meditation and other things, and had more healing because Reiki is a cumulative effect.
Yes.
It got easier and easier. But I will say that there was a company an organic mushroom company that I worked for a hot minute that actually is what sort of, how do I say it? It swept me off my feet and really got me to quit corporate America. And the way I was looking at the organic mushroom company was, this is a way to do more purposeful work.
Uh-huh.
I can heal others through mushrooms, and I can heal the earth. We had a nonprofit, that company, where we were going to heal the earth. There was all these big plans. They were offering me ownership in the company because of what I was bringing to the table through my corporate experience. And so that was, that felt like more stable than just jumping off the corporate cliff and going right into my Reiki and coaching business. And so that felt a little bit more comfortable. And then that whole thing fell through like within a month or 5 weeks. The owner ended up being really abusive, and I had to quit that. And that was spirit testing me, because I have a lot of abuse in my past, testing me to see if I was going to choose money and that kind of thing again. And I just wouldn't do it finally. So.
Wow. I think that's amazing. I think, and I love what you're saying. And can I offer something? Not that you're asking, you did not ask. And I'm like doing the thing, right? So the interesting piece to me, and this is one of those things that people don't often, like when we tell our story, or when we talk about it, I've done it too, is that you were stepping in, and that is a cliff, but it was really less of a cliff and more of a stepping stone. When you think about it, never in this journey have you fallen.
Right.
And that there's something that we believe that that we're not going to be supported along the way. It may not look like you didn't have probably in your vision board or whatever you're doing, your vision going, oh my gosh, a mushroom company, that's number one, right? Or that I want to maybe have ownership in a company like that. But the fact that like this started to move you forward.
Yes.
I always love the phrase, somebody shared this with me years ago, and I live by it, is that nothing is wasted in God's economy or spirit's economy. However you want to, there is nothing wasted. Yeah. So beautiful.
Yes. I mean, it's exactly what I needed, because you want to know why I went to the organic mushroom company? Because I was scared. I was fearful of just doing my own thing and really showing up more authentically than I ever have before.
Yeah.
Since I was a teenager, and so when that didn't work out, then it was like, well, guess what I did? I went online and I bought a tent.
Yeah.
And I went out to farmers markets and street fairs and expos. And I just started building my business in the community. And it was a wonderful, wonderful summer and fall and last part of last year.
That's awesome. And so here you are, and you are building a very strong Reiki business, and it's more than just Reiki. It's more than that. You have a bigger vision. You're doing even more than that. So would you like to share with us a little bit about how this journey has expanded you?
Absolutely. So, I started off doing individual treatments, and then I started training the end of last year. And as I've listened to the whispers from spirit, really, and readings and so on that I've gotten all from spirit, I've decided the next step I want to take is bringing Reiki into companies and also into centers for people with autism, because I believe it can do such good work there.
Yeah.
And I just picture the good that it can do. The relief, I guess, that it can bring.
I love that.
Spaces. But I also so I had mentioned my work. It's all rooted in self-love, because my whole life changed when I started loving myself again. Yeah. And that was after I got attuned to Reiki and had that awakening. It was like, whoa, it was awareness times 1,000 on all the things I was doing and saying and treating myself. And so, I have for a long time been thinking about a retail product. And I was going to make a love yourself toolkit that I was.
Oh yeah, love. Love that love. I love it.
Yeah. And I imagined it to be this physical thing, right? Yeah. And so I was talking to some friends about it and asking for feedback, right? Collecting data. What do you do? What would be cool? Because I have all these ideas and wondering, okay, are they, good? And 2 days after talking to a couple friends about it, my girlfriend texted me and said, let me know when you're going to do that Love Yourself workshop. And I'm like, workshop? I said it was a toolkit. So I just sat on that for a while. And one night I was just writing stream of consciousness. What could I do for a mini offer? And it all came out in a workshop, a 2-hour mini offer. And so I just held that for the first time a couple of weekends ago. And the women who attended all had a positive transformation and positive shifts, and brought practices with them home to sustain that. And they're all interested in attending the full workshop. So I'm continuing with the development of that, and I can't wait to put it out. Super excited. It felt so good to share that.
Yes.
Because it's just from my heart. And I really love that it turned into a workshop. So I'm doing that. And I know there's something else, but right now I can't remember what it is.
Okay. That's okay. You know, I think, first of all, I love that you share that, is that things show up in ways we don't expect. Yeah. And, you know, we call them nudges, we call them whispers, or whatever that is that I firmly believe that if we learn to practice the paying attention to, it's not of us. It's of us. It's with us. It's a partnership. When we are in that partnership and actively engaged in it, not like a minion, but like an actual partner, everything changes. Everything changes. And what you paying attention to that and going, well, I didn't say those words, but it's showing up here this way. Mm-hmm. That was a partnership. That was you taking it as, maybe. And that's powerful. That's powerful. That's in power. That's amazing.
I love that you said it in that way. Mm-hmm. Because when, you know, kind of how I think of it is, you know, you don't know what step yet, or you don't know what's going to come until you take the step. Spirit will be there to meet you. You got to kind of take the step first, and then listen. And it oftentimes, you know, and I think your story kind of goes to this. So I'm not trying to speak out of turn here. Like a lot of times the things that show up aren't what we expect. Yeah. They are not what we expect. Mushroom farm, didn't expect that. Didn't somebody to repeat my words back to me that weren't my words. Didn't expect that. Didn't expect to be doing this workshop. Didn't expect that this was the path. But that when we meet these moments that rise up, like expansion happens. Yes.
And so I'm excited because I believe you and I talked a few months ago, and the difference between then and now is pretty phenomenal. And I don't mean that like you are nothing like that, but like your level of clarity, and you can see it in your entire energy field, is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it because I get to, those are the things that, you know, when we see each other, when we really allow ourselves to see and be seen, we can see that transformation. We can see those moments of, what happened, Paula? Like, what is going on with you? And it's like, oh, you might be like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, but you're all here instead of out here. You're all here. That's a different energy. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, for telling me.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. I want to hear more. I always want to hear more. So I love the fact that you're going to be, thank you for saying yes to being a part of the Light Up. You said yes like a few months ago when we talked about it. And so I'm glad that we were able to get this lined up. What will you be offering at the Light Up? Well, if people show up and they're like, okay, I want to go see Paula, what are they going to experience?
They will have their choice of a mini-Reiki session.
Nice.
Or a mini cultivating self-love session.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah. So I'm going to just pull a few things right from that workshop I did and bring them there. And so what I'll start off with is just a couple of questions for the person sitting in front of me, the beautiful being sitting in front of me.
Yes.
And then go from there. Like it will just jump off from there. And I will leave people with a couple of things they can take home to start to make small changes, small consistent changes, which are the key to everything.
Yes. Well, you know that, and I know that. That's what coaching is all about. Like if you have a coach that leaves you open-ended, that's not good. You need coaches that kind of take where you're going and give you some pathways. I love that. I will always be a proponent of that. I think that sounds Super exciting. If anybody's watching and you want to ask a question, feel free to put that in the comments. We will ask. I wanted to let everyone know that I am super excited about April. Now, we are not having a light up in May, and there's a question about June, because summer's so weird, but May, there's not a good weekend in Northeast Minneapolis because we have the first weekend. Well, it's my anniversary, so we're not going to do that. Next weekend's Mother's Day. The following weekend is what is it? Art-A-Whirl in Northeast, which would have been fun, but it's going to be crazy and no parking. So no, we're not doing that. And then the last weekend's Memorial Day. So we're skipping May, and more to be found out. But I really want to have this Sunday be a bash. So 50% off tickets. Use the code APR30. If you come to the door, I can't give you 50% off. But if you buy them before, we can. So let's get those tickets on. The reason is that way we know how many people to expect. We have a better idea of what that looks like. And the other little update about the light up is that we have been wearing masks, and we don't need to wear masks for this event. So if you choose to, you will be honored, you will be upheld, you will be loved. There is no negativity. I just want you to know, I love that. But if you do not want to wear a mask, the event place has changed their policy. We are good. So if you would like to be without a mask, you can. So this is my update for that. And I'll be updating this week as we talk. But yeah, I'm so excited you're going to be there, Paula. It's just such a fun thing. And one of the things that we try to do with the light up is really stress that we are co-creating something.
Yes.
And so all of the people who are listening to this and they think, oh my gosh, I'm just going to show up and just receive. Well, yes, you will be receiving, but you, just by saying yes, are helping create the event and the energy of the event. And that has been proven on repeat from the people who attend. The feedback is I felt like it was just for me. I felt like the messages and the people that were there knew that I was going to be there and exactly what I needed. And I'm like, that's the energy of what we're creating at this event. And I know that you know about that. You know the power of creating intention and energy.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's so much more beautiful when we're all doing it together. It's so much more fulfilling.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. And so I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm so glad you're going to be there. And Paula will post in the comments after this, after our interview. Check out the comments, and she'll put a link to her offers and what she's doing so that you guys can find out and get to her upcoming events, because they're going to be amazing. And I think self-love, I love that you're focused on self-love. I think that there's a lot of ways. Before we wrap up, I just want to throw this out there, and I'm curious to know what you think about this. I think there are sometimes a lot of practices that are out there they talk about self-love, and they're kind of just an excuse to beat yourself up about not being good enough. And I feel like true self-love is really about compassion and grace and gentleness. And we were talking about gentleness before this, and I'm curious to know your approach on that.
Gosh, I couldn't agree more. So part of what we do in the workshop, where all the meat is, right, in the tools that we talk about. I mean, we do so many great things in the workshop, but the tools, that are also the practices that you bring home to do. One of the big things in all of that is awareness of your self-talk, awareness of how you're treating yourself, of what you're saying to yourself, and getting obsessively aware of what those thoughts are. Like, I mean, obsessive.
Yeah.
And so that we aren't, right, to stop exactly what you said, beating ourselves up, right? And there's a few potent meditations in the workshop too, that they're guided meditations. They are with visualization, and there's even, it's not hypnotherapy, but it reminds me a little bit of hypnotherapy. And so they're really potent in that way about, and I'll give you just a little bit of a clue about loving all the pieces and parts of you. And so
I love that.
yeah, thank you.
Well, and I think it's, yeah, there was a phrase that a teacher of mine would use often is, are you hiding a bad motive under a good motive? And so often we talk about self-love, and underneath we're doing all the things that, like, you're not being good enough, you're not loving enough, you're not graceful enough, you're not this, you're not, and it doesn't matter what the veneer is you're putting on. So I love what you're saying about becoming almost hyper aware of the subtext, what's going on in the background or underneath what you're trying to do, because until that changes,
Exactly, subconscious. And so there's journaling that we do too.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty great journal. I don't know what else, what other word to use to describe them, but they're powerful journal prompts that take you back into, your childhood and what you learned when you were little. And so that's, another way to get out of those non-serving thoughts, let's say.
Yeah, totally get it. Totally get it. Well, I am so excited for everything that you're doing. If you are watching this and you want to be part of the Light Up, I encourage you to buy those tickets, show up. It's going to be a gorgeous day. It's spring, and you're going to be in amazing company. I can't say enough about that. Like, every time I think, it's hard to interrupt our days. It's hard because we all have busy lives, and every single time, even me, and I'm hosting, right? I go, oh, I really like my cup of coffee and to be cozy on my couch, and I got to get ready and go. Every time, as soon as I see the building, it's like everything changes for me. It's like I am so glad I'm here, and it is on fire. So I'm glad you'll be there. We're going to have so much fun. So join us. And if you're looking for where to get tickets, you can find the link in the comments, and we will be posting more of Paula's information in the comments, and look forward to connecting with all of you in a couple of days. Thanks so much, Paula, for being here with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Love you.
Love you too.